Welcome to episode 15 of VYPE Recruit Spotlight. I am your host, Wac, joining alongside with me, as always, are Jackson and Will. And we got a good show for you today. Will and Jackson have been all across the city of Houston during these spring practices, and can't wait to hear all about it. We got a little kind of limited series, if you will, coming up in the next few weeks about their kind of adventures, if you will. But before we do that, I'd like to bring in Jackson and Will and just see how they're doing as it pertains to life. So Jackson, how you doing, man?
Doing good. I had a busy past 2 weeks going out and going to some spring practices. It's exciting to have football back. Of course, we'll have it fully back in a couple of months, but it's exciting to go see these young kids and seniors or juniors going to be seniors prepare for their senior year. So it's been a busy week.
Will, how about you, my man? How you doing?
Yeah, living the dream. Really can't complain about anything going on right now. Actually, about a few hours before we filmed this, I had my last high school class, so that's exciting. Got a few other things going on, and it's been a lot of fun. Hitting the road with Jackson. I got another day in after he did, and it's just been great. You can really feel football back in the air.
Well, and let's stick with you because you kind of have breaking news that you broke on Twitter earlier today, Thursdays when we record. So, everyone knows you're going to Nebraska, but now there's something more to that as well. Go ahead and fill us in, Will. What's going on with you when you head to Nebraska? Or actually, it's already started technically, so fill us in.
Yeah, it did actually start today. I started a gig as a recruiting contributor with 247 Sports with Husker 247. So that's a dream job for me ever since I started a few years back. And thanks to Mike Schaefer, Tim Verghese, who's a good friend of ours, former VYPE ambassador actually, and quite a few other people within the 247 staff. We were able to get this done, and thankfully and kind of surprisingly get it done before I even step foot on campus. So I'll be working as much as I can this summer, and hopefully be back in Texas at some point in the fall.
Well, very exciting news indeed. I mean, that's you couldn't ask for a better kind of start to your college career, if you will. And Huskers 247 definitely have got someone. Just for me personally, has someone on their staff now that I think is just gonna take Huskers 247 to the next level. So congrats to that, Will. Very much deserved, if you ask me.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, let's jump into that's kind of the big news, if you will, from us three. Unless Jackson, you got some breaking news you want to give us your way, but I don't think you do. So let's go ahead and jump into our news as we know. I guess I'll give my brief news out of the way. That's we talk about our under the radar segments, right? And how we hope that not saying that we necessarily help in that matter, but maybe we can see that, hey, these under the radar guys, they'll start picking up some offers. One of my under the radar guys, Devin Skura from Manor, he's picked up in the last kind of week two D1 offers from Prairie View A&M and University of Nevada, Las Vegas, so UNLV. So congratulations to him. Like I said, I think he's gonna, as the season progresses and he gets to play that tight end spot, he's gonna get even more D1 offers. So that's it for me. Let's turn it up to Jackson and Will, who we know have been on the road during these spring practices. Let's start with you, Will. Just kind of give us your thoughts and insights of some of the stuff you've seen this last week.
Yeah, I like that you brought up an under the radar recruit you had a few weeks back, and one of mine, Terrence Guillory II from North Shore. I got an offer from Texas A&M Commerce, so congratulations to him. I'll have a little bit later on a shout out from someone on that staff. But man, what a great week that Jackson and I were able to see. First from Klein Forest. You talk about the depth they have there. We're talking about 15 or 20 guys that have an opportunity to play at the next level in some kind of capacity. Brad Spence, Jelani Watkins, and Parker Jenkins are the big three over there. But don't be surprised when the 2025s up there pop up. But yeah, Spence thinking about making a decision before his senior season. Same thing with Parker Jenkins. Jelani Watkins is going to hold off for a while class 2024. He will have a lot of options. Him and Parker Jenkins are headed to, actually they're at the state track meet right now, like a few of the other athletes we have, and that's a great segue. I was at New Caney yesterday where all of their best football players were at track practice. You're talking about, you know, guys like Kedrick Riscano, who are top recruits in the state of Texas and really in the country. You know, we talked about track a few weeks back, and these guys are really showing why that sport can lead you to great things. Great recruits over there, great program they've got. But overall, just an incredible week that we saw in spring practice.
Jackson, let's turn it over to you now. What are some of the things you've seen this last week on your kind of spring practice tour across the city of Houston?
So I'm going to start off with last week. I was able to go out to Conroe and Willis High School, first starting with Conroe. They've got some dudes at Conroe High School. Don't be shocked in that Conroe ISD district if you see Conroe, who's been seen as this kind of lower tier team, bump up to maybe even the second place team in the district. They've got a great receiving core in Tice Williams Jr., Luis Williams III, Cameron Thomas, and also a guy to look out for is Braylon Reese. I expect them all four to have a breakout season. Look out for the Conroe Tigers. They've got a great program and great coach and Coach Hardman. Now jump into Willis. I mean, we've talked about DJ Lagway a lot. It was great to go see him in practice. He's really been able to take what new head coach Trent Miller has been coaching him, and in practice, Lagway is able to call the play before Miller can get it out of his mouth. It's great to see their chemistry and relationship already developed, and that young Willis football team is going to shock a lot of people next season. Penn State, Texas, and Houston were there to watch Lagway when I was there. It was special to see all these coaches there in Willis, Texas, to watch him. Two guys I have to look out for next season for the Willis Wildcats are Terry Lawrence, the second running back, class of 2025, is going to be a dude. Definitely a kid that'll be picking up offers really soon. And also class of 2024 wide receiver DeBron Hampton, recently transferred from Lake Creek. Had a great season at Lake Creek on varsity. I expect him to continue that heading to Willis. Now kind of jumping to our practices this week, I'll go to the Woodlands since we've already talked about Klein Forest. We got to see four-star Mabry Matoyer in person. Got to see him now getting ready for his junior year with a district MVP on his belt already. He's got plenty of great weapons to play with this year with Quanell Farquan Jr., who's one of the top wide receivers in the class of 2025. Also, other athletes are Kez Gomez, Patrick Rabel, Jacoby Mitchell at running back, and Bollinger at slot. I expect them all to have a great season. I expect this Highland to really turn heads this year, especially in the opening game against North Shore, where I predict they will beat the defending state champs. But overall, it was a great couple of visits, really strong programs I got to go see, and really excited to see them next fall.
Well, and then kind of speaking on the Woodlands and Klein Forest, you know, Jackson and Will, you know, kind of took a camera out there and going to kind of debut a new series. I think next week is when we'll put it out, in episode 1 being the Woodlands and Klein Forest. We're calling it VYPE Spring Tour. Just a quick little kind of, I guess you can call it docu-series, you know, 3 to 5 minutes, just about, you know, just their time there on campus for those. So very excited to see it. I've kind of put together episode 1, looking pretty good. Got a few more things to add to it before next week. And then after that, they'll go to do a few more schools to kind of create like a 3-episode mini series. So stay tuned for that. And if you haven't seen it, we're also doing one with specifically Concordia Lutheran. That one should be dropping, I think, tonight, which again, that's Thursday. So, you know, it'll have appeared by the time you're watching this last night. So go check that out for sure. With that being said, let's jump to our interview this week. I don't even want to like tease it or anything. Let's just jump to that interview right now.
Thanks, guys. We are here with 3-star athlete, class of 2023, Klein Oak, Kaleb Black. Kaleb, how you doing, man? Good, man. I mean, you've been kind of tearing it up lately. Last season, you first team all district selection, utility player selection. The year before, you were the newcomer in the district. How did you feel last season went for yourself?
I feel like it was good for me. You know, I put in a lot of work over the off season, so I really got to show a lot of what I did over the summer. I feel like I could have did way better still, even with the season I had, but it was cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, you had a great season, and looking forward to seeing what you do your senior year. You've been also pretty much getting recruited really heavily the past couple of weeks. I know you went on a visit to Wisconsin this offseason. You've gone on a couple other visits to North Texas and a couple other schools. What's the recruiting process been like for you so far?
It's been it's been kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. College is coming fast. It's been a fast process. Getting visits in, talking to coaches, seeing people all the time. So, but I like it. It's cool.
Yeah, man, I think the recruiting process is always different for everyone. And I know it can be hectic. You always got coaches calling you, trying to get on your phone and stuff. But what is so far out of the visits you've gone on? What are some of the highlights for you? Some of your favorite ones, whether it be a game you went to, you like the atmosphere, or just the visit or the visit pictures in general.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I was at Arkansas, and I went to they had a little basketball game. It was lit in the arena, and in Wisconsin too.
Yeah, man. I mean, those sound like two great visits, and definitely two schools that I could tell are definitely highly pursuing you. So now that we're in off season, you're in spring ball now again. You're back in pads, getting ready for next fall, your senior year. What are some goals and things you're going to be working on in the off season to prep for a big senior season?
I'm just trying to make sure I'm in the best shape of my life, way better than last year. Prepare for anything. My leadership skills. Me stepping up into that senior role.
Yeah, man. I think you're going to have a big senior year. We're definitely excited here at VYPE to see what happens with it. Now we're going to kind of switch it up, have a little fun with it. A question I kind of like to ask the guys, just to break the ice here. What is your go-to Whataburger order after the game?
Go-to Whataburger Patty.
Okay, good choice. I like the choice. I like no onions on mine, but good choice. Good choice.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't like onions.
Okay. I mess with it, man. That's the best way to have it. So now that NIL has become such a big deal in college football, I know guys like to always think about man, I'd love to rep this one brand, or maybe it's a restaurant or whatever. Whenever you choose the school, what is a brand that you would love to be able to represent for an NIL deal?
Nike.
Oh, 100%.
Nike, bro.
You can never go.
They gonna have me. I know Nike gonna keep me right.
For sure, man. I mean, you see what Adidas does this year, and I mean, they're about to start NIL deals with all the schools that are Adidas sponsored. You think Nike and Under Armour and all these other schools are about to jump into that, which could be huge for all college athletes in general. So, but Nike's definitely a great choice there. So now switching back to football. Recently, you teased at dropping your top schools. You ended up not really doing it yet. What's your timeline looking like for either cutting down schools or even a commitment?
Right now, I'm really kind of focusing. I'm trying to make a commitment before the season starts, hopefully. But if not, then after the season.
Okay. So for you, are you going to be – we saw it this year with Texas A&M, and there's other schools that have been doing it too. They get these early commits to help recruit for their class, try to build up a mega class basically. What would you – if you had the choice to, would you be a guy who wants to commit early and start teaming up, trying to get guys even in the local Houston area to join you at that school?
I mean, yeah, of course. That would be something that's almost I don't know. That would be fun for sure. Meeting up very Houston people.
For sure.
But it's not really a need to do it though. It would be cool.
So I feel like a lot of people going through this recruiting process, you get to a point to where you're trying to find home for you. Of course, football's number one priority for all recruits, but what are you wanting to do outside of football when you're at said school that you end up going to, whether it be like a specific major or maybe just being active in the campus?
You talking major? I still haven't really gotten into that where I want to work at really yet, but I've been leaning towards the business and fake kind of
I mean, those are good choices, man. I mean, you got to stay football. Football's the dream for everyone, but you always got to have that backup plan. And obviously, being a business major, that does wonders for you at the next level. So, last couple questions I got for you are: you're going into your senior year. What are maybe some goals you have set for you when the season starts?
goals set for myself. Honestly, I need to make a list of goals, the season goals, but I know I'm on the top all the numbers that I hit last year. I'm on the top all of those numbers. Be best out of most touchdowns in the district for receivers.
For sure. Yeah, man. I mean, those are some pretty solid goals, and we hope that you end up hitting those. I know that we all have high expectations for that district next year. You've got guys at Klein Oak that are ready to ball, and the district's wide open next year. So last question I really have for you is, whenever that time comes, whenever that commitment is ready, what is something that you want that school to know ahead of time? Like, hey, this is what you're going to get from me.
Yeah, that school, like, I want that school to know, like, I'm going to be the hardest working person on the team. Like, they're going to get whatever out of me whenever, at any time. I'm always ready to go. And they're going to get a leader.
Yeah, man. I mean, those are important qualities to have, and we're excited to see what happens, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day, out of your night to sit down with me, and good luck next season, man.
No problem. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Jackson, once again, thanks for getting that interview for us. Great interviews as always, guys. Always love, who y'all get on the show. It's now time, though, for our Under the Radar segment. And this week for Under the Radar, as always, we always like to say, hey, you got to get those people that maybe aren't getting the offers that they should be, or maybe, they're kind of one of those maybe top stars, if you will, and they're not getting as the love from the D1 schools. I'm going to go first, and, I got not only under the radar players, but really under just the radar organization, if you will. So, this, you're going to see here when I show you these clips, it's like, it's amazing just how good of a defense this organization has. So I'm going to go ahead and play it right now. So as you can see, I mean, just look at how quickly they come to the ball here, right? And I mean, right here, just quick and tackles. You got to love the defense here, not getting past them, stopping them at the goal line. And gotta love Best Buy here. Under the radar for sure. I mean, this one's the best one of all. I mean, offensive skills right there. That's top tier lineman skills. So under the radar is all these. No, that's a little bit of a joke there. This is one of the things we saw. I don't know if you're Jackson or Will, if y'all had seen that kind of viral clip of the Best Buy employees stopping the people from stealing the phones, but had to throw that in there as a little bit of fun from our Under the Radar segment. My real Under the Radar segment is Lawson Petty. If I'm saying that right, I apologize if I'm not. From Highland Park. He's an offensive tackle, 6'3", 285 pounds. You'll see in the huddle highlights I have up now, just really good hands. I mean, when he puts his hands on someone, they're almost falling down. He's got a lot of intensity, a lot of firepower to him. He's just bully ball type of player. And something you'll notice, he plays to the whistle, right? Hey, the ball's going to the right side. He's on the left side. He's still putting his guy on the ground, playing to the whistle. Absolutely love what this kid can do. He's only got 2 offers at the moment, SMU and Tennessee State. But I think in his senior season, you're going to see some more offers come his way from Division I. Absolute, just one of those, tough and really just brutal type of offensive tackles you'd love to see, as an offensive line coach or just someone that wants the offensive line. So Lawson Petty, my under the radar athlete for this week. Will, who is your under the radar this week?
Yeah, my under the radar this week is a guy that I was able to see, but not in football this week. He was actually running track. It's Dravon Wilson, class of 2024, corner and receiver from New Caney High School. You'll see in the tape, this guy is a really hard hitter. He plays much bigger than he actually is. I'll get his measurables up right here. I mean, he's at 5'11", 185. I'm sure he'll put on some more weight as the summer goes on, going into the fall. This is an absolute dog for New Caney. Super fast guy too. Runs a 4.41 40. This is a guy to look out for. He doesn't have any offers at the moment, but there's so many college coaches around that high school looking at other guys, maybe like a CJ Blocker or Kendrick Riscano. They see Wilson, and they just ball over this guy. I'd expect him to pick up some big offers very soon.
That is a good one indeed, Will. And let's turn to Jackson to close out our Under the Radar segment. Jackson, who you got for us today?
So my under the radar athlete this week is actually a guy who I scrolled through Twitter and found. His name is Tavion Atkinson from Aldine High School. He's a 6'5", 270-pound class of 2024 defensive tackle, defensive end. He's long, physical at the DN position. I expect him to transition to a DT position once he moves on to the next level. As you can see in the film, he's just a game wrecker. He's a guy who you can plug in any spot in the D line and make big plays for you. He picked up his first offer from UTSA the other day. I expect more schools to jump on this kid. I mean, a 6'5", 270-pound lineman, you don't see many of those nowadays. So look out for this kid next season, as I believe he will be a key piece to the Aldine High School football team next season.
Once again, if you know an athlete, if you are an athlete, and you want to be featured on Under the Radar segment, let us know. Hit us up in the DMs. Hit us up in the comments. Send us an email. We will cover you on our show. We are all about just trying to, give exposure to people that need it, that want it, whatever you want to say. We want to feature you on our show. So let us know. Hit us up in there. Well, that's going to do it for our show today. But as always, I like to close it off by, giving, Will and Jackson the chance to do some shout outs. So, Jackson, let's start with you. Who are you shouting out today?
I'm going to shout out my baby brother, Harrison. They got a playoff game tonight, and when this show airs again tonight. So good luck to the Highlanders tonight. I hope that they get the dub, and I hope they win this series to move on to the playoffs. Also want to shout out to you two. I mean, we've done 15 episodes now, and it's been nothing but great shows and great laughs and content together.
Couldn't agree more. Will, who are you shouting out today?
I've got a long list, to be honest. First of all, Teron Carrier from Texas A&M Commerce. He is getting some really good receivers offered over there. Blake Reeve, Coach Blake Reeve from New Caney. Coach Wilson from Klein Forest. Coaches Williams and Colston from the Woodlands. Mike Schaefer, Mike Roach, Tim Verghese. You, Jackson, for knowing just about every single player on the Woodlands roster, even with helmets on. And of course, you, Wac, for just about everything. I mean, great content week in, week out.
Well, I appreciate that, Will. And I'm going to shout out you, of course, picking up that job with Huskers 247. Couldn't be more proud of you. I mean, we've talked about it kind of off camera, just where you started with the VYPE program and where you are now. I mean, just love seeing that growth from you, and can't wait to see what you do over there in Nebraska. I do believe your last show is probably, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be next week. So, it's going to be one of those sad but joyous things, because we know you're going off to bigger and better things. So definitely big shout out to you, Will. Well, again, that's going to do it for our show today. We'll be back next Friday, as always, with another episode of VYPE Recruit Spotlight and Will's final, maybe some guest spots here and there, once he gets settled in college. You never know, right? Don't want to close that door, but his last official episode as co-host, if you will. So until then, I'm Wac. That's Jackson and Will, and we'll see you at the games.